Today, I would like to talk with you about failure and how are your ideas about failure and what springs into your mind if you hear that word only. And for that, we would like to study from ponder on this because it can bring us a clearer picture of what failure actually is, and that may be something to learn and a positive incident, and yet we still may hold on to certain beliefs and negative perceptions about failure. And with that, I would like to read what is written in the book from Alice Baylis with Master Djwhal Khul. So it's on page 149. It is a serious waste of time for a disciple to ponder upon failure or the fear of failing. There is no such thing as failure. There can only be loss of time. That is in itself is serious these days of dire world need, but the disciple must inevitably some day make good and retrieve his past failures. I need not point out that we learn by failure, for that it is a well-known truth and is known as such by all who attempting to live life as souls, nor the disciple sorrow over the failures, apparent or real, of his fellow disciple. The sense of time produces glamour and disappointment, where the work goes truly forward and the lesson is learned by failure, acts as a safeguard for the future. I just want to point that out. The sense of time produces glamour and disappointment. That means in whatever you try to attempt, but if you introduce a sense of time, it may bring you down in the fog of the glamours and the emotional nature of the astral plane. And also putting that sense of time, it essentially puts condition on whatever needs to happen in a certain time, and those conditions can only lead to disappointment. So my wish for you is to scan wherever, in whatever way you're about to embark, where is there a sense of time and how can you go deeper and maybe move or even remove the sense of time which you're still having. That's my wish for you. And as it said, a lesson learned by failure acts as a safeguard for the future. Thus it leads to rapid growth. An honest disciple may be momentarily glamored, but in the long run nothing can really deter him. What are a few brief years in a comparative cycle of eons? What is a second of time in a span of a man allotted 70 years? To the individual disciple, they appear most important. To the looking soul, they seem as nothing at all. For the world, perhaps a temporary failure cannot delay in expected help, but that again is brief, and help will come from other sources, for the plan goes on eternally forward. So we need to place failures in right perspective. So whatever we make big now, it may not be big in those eons of years and lifetimes, or even in a whole lifespan of ours. The emergence of emotional conditions of glamour in our life expression need not necessarily indicate failure. There is only failure if there is indication with these astral conditions and the succumbing to old rhythms. Recognize failure if it is there, but then with a face lifted to the light and smile up your lips, turn you back up on such failure and go with steadiness forward. The only regret that is justifiable is based on failure to learn the lesson of failure. So we must see failure as it is. It is not really a failure, and it can be perceived or not even real. And however, we must guard our minds from a sense of time and also see failure as a safeguard for the future and actually not waste our time on it. Just smile at it, learn the lesson, and move forward. And I wish you the courage and the strength to smile at your perceived failures and move forward with the light. Take care.